A very warm welcome to today's edition of Money Moves. I am Melissa Enoch here at the FMDQ studios in Lagos.
And I am Grace Agbarago. It's Wednesday, the 29th of October. We thank you for joining us at this time on the show.
Let's now begin with your news now. The World Bank's latest commodity markets outlook projects global commodity prices to fall to their lowest level in 6 years by 2026, marking a fourth straight year of decline. Prices are forecast to drop 7% in both 2025 and 2026, weighed by weak global growth, an expanding oil surplus, and policy uncertainty. Brent crude is projected to average $68 in 2025, $60 in 2026, while energy prices could fall 12% next year and 10% thereafter. Despite the declines, commodity prices will remain above pre-pandemic levels, 23% higher in 2025 and 14% higher in 2026 than in 2019. In Rwanda, the 21st Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program Partnership Platform and the 16th Africa Day for Food and Nutrition Security are underway, jointly marking the Africa Day for Agriculture. Let's now listen.
This year's theme, From Marabo to Para, Accelerating Just, Resilient Agri-Food System Transformation for Nutrition and Sustainable Growth, properly captures the spirit of our collective ambition. It reminds us that Africa's future depends on how effectively we move from commitment to coordinated action, shifting from the talk to the real action. We must sustain the momentum of the Marabo Declaration and build on it through the CADEP Kampala Strategy and the Action Plan, which stands from 2026 to 2035, ensuring that our agri-food system are not only productive, but also inclusive, no one left behind, nutrition sensitive, and resilient to shocks. So as we commemorate the 16th Africa Day for Food and Nutrition Strategy, we are reminded that food security is not just about producing more, it is about producing.
In Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe Mercantile Exchange and the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange have signed an MOU to promote structured, transparent, and technology-driven commodity trading between Zimbabwe and Nigeria. The deal aims to integrate Africa's commodity value chains under the AFCFTA, with ZMX also pursuing similar agreements with exchanges in Malawi, Zambia, and Tanzania. In global energy news, leaders are gathered at the Summit on the Future of Energy Security to shape coordinated solutions and deepen collaboration on energy security initiatives amid a rapidly evolving global energy landscape. Let's pay attention.
But why think about energy security? Well, as many people can recognize, the world is thinking through what it means to be energy secure today. And it is a multifaceted topic anchored in national security, economic opportunity, political stability. And I think that means that it varies and it's distinct across regions. And so as we bring this multinational group together of like-minded countries, we want to explore these issues and find solidarity where we can to keep moving forward shared priorities. As I look around the world, I think I see a variation in terms of how countries and companies and others are addressing energy security in their specific lens of how they operate. In the United States, of course, we've moved from a moment of resource scarcity. You go back to 2005, we were importing 12 million barrels a day. The U.S. government today, I know the Department of Energy is here Secretary Chris Wright's on his way to the ministerial tomorrow. And obviously, we're thinking about a very different lens of resource abundance, of comparative abundance, of energy dominance. Europe and Asia, on the other hand, still dealing with resource scarcity on many occasions, thinking for a greater push on diversification, a pursuit of indigenous resources, renewable energies, nuclear energy. How do we do that and alleviate the pressures of reliance on untrustworthy partners? The Middle East, you have a perspective, especially in the Arab Gulf, of a sustained demand, a need for a sustained demand for petroleum products, because that is a backstop for revenues. It's a backstop for the opportunity to actually diversify economies. But why?
In Ghana, the Agricultural Development Bank has reported a strong 9-month performance to September 2025, with profit after tax surging to 282.3 million Ghana cedis from 111.8 million cedis a year earlier. Operating income jumped to 1.17 billion cedis, driven by higher net interest income of 918.1 million cedis. Total assets grew to 16.22 billion cedis, supported by strong deposit growth to 12.8 billion cedis. The bank strengthened its capital base, with total equity rising to 1.56 billion cedis and accumulated losses narrowing to 1.70 billion cedis. Earnings per share came in at 0.17 pesos for the period. Finally, on News Now, at one of the panel sessions of the 9th Future Investment Initiatives in Riyadh, Tony Elumelu called for greater investment in Africa's AI infrastructure, stressing that the continent must not be left behind in the technological revolution. He emphasized that to unlock AI's full potential, Africa must invest in electricity, connectivity, and capital, and the foundations of the true AI revolution. Let's now pay attention.
AI is like a constant. It's like commoditized in some markets. But there are some markets like the African market. This is starting, but the rate of adoption is not great. And even the infrastructure to make AI work on the continent is lacking. And so as I sit here and listen to everyone here, I'm asking myself, what catalytic thing, one thing that we can all here do to help improve the AI penetration on the African continent? Because AI is the way to go. It's all about productivity, efficiency. It's about people, their careers, etc. It's about growing, achieving common good, and in fact, prosperity for everyone. AI is key. It's key, the way to go. So I think in our credit rooms, in our boardrooms, as we make decisions about funding, capital allocation in particular, about asset investments, we should please encourage and support the infrastructure development in Africa, because it's so critical. If you look at power, for instance, I talk about this always. Access to electricity is so poor on the continent. Over 600 million people don't have access to electricity. And we're talking of AI, data, etc. You need so much power to fire it. But something can be done and should be done. And AI and the FII is about prosperity. And prosperity is when almost everyone is carried along at the same level, at the same page. So let's see in our respective boardrooms any investment decision we can make, any credit decision we can make. I know my friend does a bit of that, and she does too, to support the infrastructure, AI infrastructure development in Africa.
I am Melissa Enoch, and that's it on News Now this Wednesday. The show returns shortly with Grace Agbaragu at the FMDQ Archives Room with our Markets Round. Do stick around. Welcome back to Money Moves. Let's now go over to Grace for today's market update. Hello there, Grace.
Thank you, Melissa. Let's now track how the markets are wrapping up trading for the day, starting off with the equities. In West Africa, the NGX All-Share Index closed on the negative, down 0.70%. In contrast, the BRVM closed on the positive, up 0.96% to 344.20. The Nairobi Securities Exchange was little changed at 183.23. In North Africa, the EGX 30 declined 0.20% and the Johannesburg Stock Exchange gained 0.71%. Let's do a quick round on some of the Pan-African currencies. The Rand weakened 0.30% to 17.11, while the Naira strengthened 0.17% to 1,450 Naira. The Egyptian Pound edged up 0.14% to 47.31, and the CFA franc gained 0.18%. The Moroccan dirham firmed 0.21% to 9.23, while the Kenyan shilling was flat at 129.20. Let's switch into the commodities data deck, beginning with energy prices. Brent crude added 0.11% to $64.47. And WTI inched up 0.02% to $60.16. Natural gas slid 2.99% to $3.24, while Arabian gasoline gained 1.02% as of 13:10 GMT. Finally, two soft prices. Cocoa dropped 1.02% to $5,941. Coffee is 0.15%, and palm oil fell 1.47%. Cotton gained 1.11% to $65.80, while sugar was down 0.84% as at 13:15 GMT. And that's our Money Moves markets today. Back to you, Melissa.
Grace, thank you very much for those markets updates. And that's it on today's edition of Money Moves. From all of us here at the FMDQ studios, we say thank you very much for watching and bye for now.